Hi everyone, Comic Book Reviewer here. This time reviewing on the 2025 film War of the Worlds. Now, as you know, the 2025 film War of the Worlds was a screen life science action thriller film which was meant to be based on H.G. Wells' 1898 novel War of the Worlds. And keep in mind that, the film was released by Universal Pictures on Amazon Prime. And I think, because of it being panned by critics and a lot of criticism came down to the film's product placement and Ice Cube's performance, the best I can say is, after sitting down to watch it, I can see they were trying to update the story, but going with more of a different angle with Ice Cube's character as Will Radford. So the premise of the film is meant to follow, Will Radford, who is basically works at the Department of Homeland Security, and of course uses a special surveillance program to monitor and keep an eye on every person on the planet. But we do kind of see how, he has a strained relationship with his kids, like Faith and Dave, and you can kind of get the sense that he wants to make sure that they're on the straight and narrow, that there's no problems and so forth. But we see how as soon as there's an alien invasion, not only do we see how Will and those around him in the department that he works on having to kind of deal with these alien invaders, but of course there's more truths about this invasion, and slowly we do see how Will slowly realizes that there's more truths about the department that he works with, and more truths about what there could be. And the best way I can sum up the film's message is about how sometimes when you work in a department or a path that you once followed, but when you start to see the truth behind it, you slowly start to realize what there really was behind it. And you can tell that in the end, Will had to realize that the whole part of his job was him slowly now realizing that he basically became everything that he feared against. And you can kind of get the sense that there's more truths about not only the sort of technology that was being used, but we do kind of see how, obviously, not only does his son try to warn him about using the kind of programs he was given, but we even do see how he kind of realizes that the guy that he works with, Donald Briggs, has more truths about himself. And I think the point of the film is that, Will has basically been in his certain room for a long time. Of course, he's going to be using technology and that to keep an eye on people, especially his family. And I think the whole point of the film was updating to a more different take on War of the Worlds, showing how the aliens are a bit more clever, knowing that their technology that is used similarly, they can actually counter it. And it does become clear that Donald doesn't think through the consequences of it. I think the problem that the film does suffer from is trying to work with a slow-paced script. And sometimes working on a slow-paced script means having to work with what was given. And to be fair about the product placement, this does happen a lot with films to help kind of keep companies going. A lot of time it's used to kind of promote things, to kind of keep the products going, or used as a kind of promotional brand. And it happens. And I think the best way I can see Ice Cube's performance is playing this really gruff, but really kind of guy who has to kind of slowly realize the truth. He's obviously meant to be a little more stubborn, but has to kind of see things realistically. I think the 2025 War of the Worlds film isn't bad, but it is working with a weak script that clearly knows it has to update with modern times. And a lot of the time, updating with modern times means having to adapt, accept, and even move forward with what's given to you. So I think the film definitely deserves a thumbs up. It's not the greatest, not the best, but it's got its moments to show that it is trying to update with modern times. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.